Hi, welcome. I'm Federico Vicario, Sales Manager from IoT Analytics. I'm here with Philipp Wegner.
Hi Federico, yeah. My name is Philipp Wegner. I'm a Senior Data Analyst at IoT Analytics, and I take care of most of the data-related tasks here at IoT Analytics, meaning surveys, market models, and adoption reports.
We have just published a new adoption report.
That is correct. We have just published the IoT Use Case Adoption Report 2021, the longest report, or the largest report we published so far as I know, with 430 pages. For that, we interviewed 200 companies and have a database of more than 1,600 IoT projects that we used for that report. In total, in total, 48 use cases, and we covered adoption, spending, return on investment, and planned investment for all of those 48 use cases across the whole world.
Can you share with us some insights?
I would love to. Maybe the most overarching insight is that companies have on average rolled out 8 IoT use cases. There's of course a high disparity between industries that have adopted more and industries that have adopted less. For example, energy and oil and gas industries have adopted the most IoT use cases, while companies active in food and beverage have adopted less on average. And when we come to the spending on IoT, we see that on average, the companies we have interviewed spend 0.34% of their revenue on IoT. And just to give you some context to this and to understand the number better, it's the average company we interviewed has a revenue of $9.6 billion, which means $33 million spent on IoT per year. And the final insight, maybe I want to share with you right now, is that this IoT investment is likely to grow even in the future, because the highest or most adopted use case was rolled out or is rolled out by 34% of all companies.
And can you tell us more about those most adopted cases?
Yeah, so the most adopted use case is remote asset monitoring, read-only. That means that basically real-time data sharing from the machinery or equipment or the asset to an off-site location, for example, the cloud. And that is something that is actually super easy to implement and cheap to realize. That's why it's so highly adopted. 34% of all companies have adopted this use case. The second most adopted use case is IoT-based process automation. And this is the use of real-time data to improve an entire operational process. So, for example, in a factory or on a farm. And finally, we have the third most adopted use case is remote asset monitoring and control. So read and write, taking the data from the asset and the equipment, and also sending commands to those assets.
So this is nowadays with pandemic is really very important, right?
That's correct. Yeah, actually, we saw some growth in recent years, and also, of course, during the curfews, during the lockdowns, not everybody could travel to and from locations. That's why remote asset monitoring and control is very important. And we see also it's actually a high return on investment use case. I think 51% of the decision makers we interviewed have reported that they have seen an amortization time of less than 2 years for that use case.
So, Philipp, could you share some key learnings?
For sure, I could share 3 key learnings with you if you want. The first one, we just talked about the ROI, the return on investment. The first key learning is that IoT projects are overwhelmingly successful. So 80% of all the 1,600 projects we looked at achieve a positive ROI. That is actually overwhelming. And the second one is that there is such a thing as too much IoT. So meaning we saw that most of the projects have a positive ROI, but still the companies that rolled out the most use cases also saw the lowest ROI on average, meaning there is such a thing as diminishing return on investment for IoT use cases, which is probably because of the third key learning I want to share is that IoT projects can be very complex, and this complexity was the main answer when we asked the respondents of our interview about key learnings they had, about common mistakes they made. They were always saying it is complex, you have to make proper testing, you have to have a proof of concept before rolling it out to the whole factory, to the whole company. That's why it's a complex process that you have to keep in mind.
Well, thank you very much, Philipp. Thank you very much. If you want to learn more, check out our website and don't hesitate to contact us.
Thank you.